Let's see what, oh, and I see it. Yeah. Triz left me some melons. Some context for that opener. This week, I've been working on interiors, and that means gathering a lot of sort of random blocks. You know, like, who's gonna need a melon in an interior? Apparently me, because I thought I needed a melon for the interior, but I currently don't grow melons, even in my chaotic backyard that I still have not dealt with. I don't grow melons. So Triz was online, and I messaged, and I was like, hey Triz, can I have a melon? Maybe a couple of melons. And Triz was like, sure. And Triz, who has found the entrance to the underworld all on her own, decided that the best place to leave me melons was a bunch of melons all over the floor of the underworld. Which was a thing that happened. And it happened to actually make some spawnable areas, so I'm glad I got there in time to clear out all the melons and make it not spawnable again. But I have learned my lesson now. Thank you, Triz. Thank you, Triz. That was very clear, very clear. I will not ask you for anything again. Why I thought I needed melons, I will never know. I genuinely don't remember why I thought I needed melons, because today we're building the interior of a pawn shop. Who's pawning melons? What? That doesn't make sense. But anyway, let's just get straight into the interior, because it was a fun interior. And it was a very hard interior. Well, the interior wasn't the hard part. Everything that happened after the interior was hard. But without further ado, let's get into it. Interiors with corn. Now, the first step to any interior is actually having space to do it. So before we actually start decorating and pulling out the floor and stuff, we gotta do some digging. Interiors with corn. So I've done the diggy, and this is the size we're going with. Not too big, not too small, definitely can fit a pawn shop in here, because this is going to be a pawn shop, if you've forgotten the giant gold ingot on the front. It's going to be a pawn shop, and then there's going to be a second level above where the guy who runs the pawn shop lives. And now I've been doing a little bit of looking online at pictures of pawn shops, and they generally have like a big glass counter. I want to stick that here because I know I also have to save space to put stairs to the second floor back here. And maybe it'll nope, not there. Maybe it'll curve around a little bit, because a lot of the sort of glass cabinets curl around, but I need to leave space here because I want to put, shelving here so that the window displays look actually useful. And so this is sort of a nice amount. I know I want to change up the floor at least a little bit. I wasn't sure in the beginning because I kind of like the idea that not a lot of it's changed out. Like, I'm not changing out the walls here. They're still over in the walls. I like that. But I think the floor might need a facelift. Interiors with corn. And the floor is done. It's just a simple spruce. You might be thinking, corn, kind of weird that, the back is lower than the front. But I will tell you all of the reasons why, yes, it's weird, but it's very important. First of all, I've done the barrel trick again, because this is where all of the actual shop functional items are going to be, which means to get at the shop's contents, sure, things are going to be displayed in here, but to actually shop here, you need to be behind the counter, which is pretty important. And more importantly than that, I'm going to have a mob running this shop. I'm going to have a zombie piglin running the shop. So it's important that he can't just kind of wander out. There's going to be, some kind of, fence gate here and fence gate here. And he's going to have the upstairs all to himself if he wants. I'm going to make him a very nice place. However, I do not want him out and roaming in the street because there will also be other residents here who might aggro him accidentally. And then there would be a giant infight between the residents of the underworld. And that is not what I want. That is really not what I want. So having this just a little bit lower means he can't jump over, which is very important. But moving right along, structurally, we need to get the stairs in before we start doing anything special. So might as well do that. Interiors with corn. So I've gone and I've added in the stairs, and the second floor, which is the first floor's ceiling. And you might notice I've added in sort of like a roof trim around here. And it's not actually because I wanted to, it's because over here, you'll see that it runs the risk of, if we only have the top slab, which is the floor, it leaves this kind of little decorational bit, and just cover it up, makes it more unified, makes it look better. Interiors with corn. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've done some tweaking. I've put in all of the extra shelves, and because we've been using so much spruce literally everywhere, it's gotta be my boy Dark Oak. We cannot put more spruce in here. Spruce is sort of the base tone for this, in that we're making the floor and the ceiling and the stairs out of it, so it cannot also be all of the shelves. So that's where Dark Oak comes in, because if I have a question of what material to use, it's Dark Oak. That's just the answer. And then you might see that I've gone and I've fixed the trim around here so it actually goes all the way through, and I've also gone and put these handy-dandy little trapdoors all the way up and down, so theoretically, the zombie piglin cannot then fall onto this level and get out. I may if zombie piglin are smarter than villagers, they will not get stuck on the trapdoors. If they get stuck on the trapdoors, if my boy gets stuck on the trapdoors, I will simply sigh and say that's the way life goes. Um, but I have hopes, no. And also, sort of from a story perspective, it also makes sense that you'd want a covered stairs. So if you need to sort of retreat up the stairs because you're being raided, it's entirely covered. You can peek through holes and stuff. It's all good. So these are all the base pieces, except for the lighting. The lighting's gotta happen. I've gotta put all of the interesting things on the shelves, and I've gotta turn this into an actual shop. So that's what comes next. Interiors with corn. And 4 hours later, it's done. Oh my gosh. This isn't like directly 4 hours later. 4 hours later was like yesterday, and then I took a break because I could not stand to be staring at it any longer. And this it isn't even done yet. That's the fun part. It isn't even done. It's just this cabinet is done now. It's so many tiny blocks. I used upwards of 128 armor stands here. I could count them all because I could do the thing where I go in and it's like, woo, but yeah, I used so many armor stands in here. I don't, I, d- this was 4 hours. I spent 4 hours doing this. And yes, it clips a little when you look close, but from afar and from like not staring at it forever, it looks good. And once you stare at it forever too, it also stops clipping, like it decides what it wants to be. And anyway, it looks cool and it's what I was going for. I was going for that sort of glass coffee table vibe that I saw in lots of the pictures that I was looking at when I was looking up inspiration for pawn shops, that it's sort of like, you know, a glass coffee table but with shelving. And then I didn't put sort of the border trim on the outside for two reasons. First of all, I could not emotionally take doing any more armor stands yesterday. I had to go and craft more armor stands like 3 or 4 times, and it was rough. It was really, really rough. So, yeah, I could not take doing the other side, but also because I like to imagine that this side opens more easily without the trim. Sort of like the trim is what's holding it together, and then you can actually reach into the glass and take the items out from the other side that doesn't have the trim. And you might be thinking, Corn, what items? And that would be why this isn't finished, because I spent 4 hours just doing the trim here and didn't actually put anything else in, except for the clock. I also put the clock in. But so now it's time to put more things in here. And that requires custom heads. So interiors with corn. Remember when I said I was never gonna ask Triz for anything ever again because of, you know, the melons? Well, that lasted all of 5 minutes because I definitely asked Triz for more things, including this, the heads, which is totally not revenge for the melons. What are you talking about? Interiors with corn. And the interior of the pawn shop is complete. Well, sort of. The interior of the downstairs of the pawn shop is complete. The upstairs is still a complete blank canvas, but given that the upstairs is going to be the apartment part and this is like the actual pawn shop part, I believe I am justified in saying that the interior of the pawn shop is complete. I didn't want it to be like entirely full because I didn't want it to seem like everyone on the server had pawned everything they own, and I want to make it so that if someone does pawn something here, then it can show up in these cases, so I wanted to leave some room. But then I also had to come up with things people on the server might have pawned for gold, because that's what this shop is going to be. It's specifically a gold pawn shop. You need gold, you come here, you pawn one of your items, and I'll give you a certain amount of gold for it. You want to buy one of these items? Better give me a lot of gold. And by me, I mean my proxy, the zombie piglin who's going to run the store. We've got all sorts of custom heads here that are gold, and they're all Triz. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Triz, because without you, nope. And then, we've already talked about how long this took me, and the reasoning behind having the slabs and the fence gates, because zombie piglins can't open those, though they can break down doors. If they're aggroed, they're like zombies. And then over here, we've got, this is supposed to be a safe. I think it kind of looks like a safe, so I'm keeping it. And then we've got someone pawned a sword, but down here, this crossbow it hasn't been pawned. It's for when the customers get too rowdy. So I just hung it a little lower. And I like the way this turned out. I really do. Would I do it again? If someone wants this kind of glass coffee table, they better be groveling. Before I'd even think about doing that. But yeah, I like the way it turned out, even though it was a heck of a lot of effort. But anyway, that's the downstairs of the pawn shop, and it's time to move upstairs, where you can see that all of the light is coming from, because I have literally no light sources here, because I want it to be kind of dingy, so we're gonna have to keep the light sources entirely upstairs. But yeah, it's a fair amount of space. It's gonna have to be a nice little apartment area for the zombie piglin that lives here. So that's like a kitchenette and a bed and some stuff to do. And I want to make it look kind of Nether inspired. Like maybe the zombie piglin, when he came to the overworld, he brought some things from home. I think that's a nice vibe. Yeah. So we'll see. Interior with corn. Now that I've got some basic blocks in my hotbar, let's talk sort of layout. Because I definitely know a couple of things about this. First of all, I do not want there to be multiple floors inside of this because I need to mitigate fall damage as much as possible. That's another one of the reasons that I put so many trapdoors here, is I do not want my zombie piglin who will be living here to be able to injure himself in any way. And so if I make it multi-leveled, I'm going to have to worry more about fall damage in the same way that I worried here, and that's just not going to work out. So, single level. However, there is a lot of roof space, so that either means I can have danglies or I can raise up bits more, and I'm not sure which I'm going to go with. In terms of what I want the apartment to have, I thought at one point a lava bath, but given like zombie piglins can drown in water, and I don't know if they can drown in lava, and I just don't want to risk it. I think it would be neat. I really think it would be neat, but we're just not going to go for it. So I'm thinking maybe you come out into, I guess, sort of maybe small dining room, and then over here we get like kitchenette, of like sort of a galley kitchen. And then we can put some sort of, I guess, relaxing nook here and a bedroom here, and we can separate the bedroom off with maybe a trapdoor wall. And in terms of things to raise, this wouldn't be raised, but maybe we can raise these a little bit, like a level or two, just to take more advantage of the height. This would be fun to have a loft, except for the fall damage problems. So maybe just raise it up a couple of slabs, just see what we can do to give some more interest over here. Interior with corn. And now I can really say it. The pawn shop interior is done. The pawn shop is finished. Almost, basically. We still have to move, the owner of the pawn shop in. But the pawn shop interior is done, upstairs and downstairs. If you go in, you'll see this is the downstairs. It's pretty much the same as when you saw it last, except that I swapped out some of the duplicate heads for the soul lanterns, because first of all, lighting issues because of the upstairs. I had to change around the light upstairs, which changed around the light downstairs. And so now, it is spawn safe, but still kind of dim, because normal lanterns are so bright. They are so bright, it ruins the vibes. It is not aesthetic. So, I've got the soul lanterns to keep it nice and, lit up to a pleasant extent, and I've also taken out some heads that were duplicates or just not super relevant. So there's that. Downstairs, basically the same as it was last time, except for the lighting changes. And then we go up the stairs, and we get to the apartment of the zombie piglin who lives here. So we've got spare armor, when I'm looking at this, I want to talk about the ideas I had when I was building this, which first of all is that the zombie piglin who lives here brought a bunch of stuff from home, or at least is doing his best to sort of make it look more like home. So we've got a lot of nether stuff. We've got blackstone kitchen set, we've got mushrooms, we've got, just trying to make it more nethery. And especially with the canopy here. I'm imagining this as a canopy, just sort of and hoisted up here above the bed. And also, yeah, bed. Not really a bed, but that's because, beds kind of looked weird here. So instead we have this, and using the nylium as a carpet. And then over here, story-wise, this might be a little confusing, but I'm imagining that this zombie piglin who lives above the shop, yeah, he runs a pawn shop, but this isn't, everything he does, and that in his free time, he maybe carves and chisels, little statues and gold stuff, and so this is his little carving, chiseling area, and you might be like, Porn, why an iron pickaxe? Because, don't zombie piglins like gold and stuff, and I'm thinking, well, yes, but logically, if you're gonna mine gold, you need an iron pickaxe, so that's where that is. But overall, I did a lot of thinking into this, and if you have questions about any of the decisions I made, in regards to the interior, ask him in the comments, and I will really get into it, because this is, I get to play make-believe, I get to say, there is this person who lives here, and I'm going to build a house for them. So, here's the house, spare armor, so if things get a little shaky downstairs, you can just run up the stairs, grab your armor, come back down the stairs, and it's the same purpose as the crossbow, just a little bit more defensive. I have had the time of my life doing this, and this is only the first interior, and I am just having a grand old time storytelling. And really, the final piece for this to be done is we need to get our zombie piglin friend in here. But something you might know about zombie piglins is that they all sort of carry swords, unless they're on a strider and they have a fishing rod, or unless they were, at one point, just a normal piglin and they had a crossbow and then they zombified, and that made it like, you know, a zombie piglin with a crossbow who just attacks by whapping you with a crossbow, can't shoot it. However, it is possible to get a zombie piglin holding nothing in its hands, and that is what I want for this shop. It just requires a bit of patience. A bit of patience. You should know that that was recorded before I even started doing it, so that corn doesn't know anything about what she's talking about. To be fair, in theory, it just requires a bit of patience. In practice, it requires so much more, because the theory of it is quite simple. Crossbow mobs in Minecraft have this funny thing where their crossbows can lose durability and break. Pillagers and piglins fit into this category when the piglin is using a crossbow. Piglins will be able to pick up another weapon, pillagers will not, but we're focusing on piglins here. So a piglin, which uses its crossbow enough times, will have the crossbow break. That's what we want, because we want a piglin to have nothing in its hands, so when it zombifies, it then has nothing in its hands. And we also want to make sure that once it zombifies, it doesn't pick anything up, because hey, they can pick lots of things up, and we want something with nothing in its hands. But going back to the original piglin in the situation, one crossbow, if it's unenchanted and perfectly normal, has 465 durability in Java. One durability is used every time one arrow is shot, and theoretically, according to the wiki, a piglin can shoot one arrow every 2 seconds. If you do the math there, that means that breaking a normal crossbow that's completely unenchanted should take 930 seconds, which is roughly 15.5 minutes. First time I did the math, I did not do the math well. I really didn't. I did the math poorly, and I thought it was 19.5 minutes. And the truth is, it's neither. At least on Arcadia, it is neither 19.5 nor 15.5. It's more like 20 or 22. Go on, ask me how I know that. I know that because I've done it a lot of times. Because this was not just an easy one and done. And first of all of this is built around the assumption a crossbow is unenchanted. And I did it with some enchanted crossbows. I did it with a crossbow that was enchanted with Unbreaking 3. I did it until the crossbow broke, so you might be like, Corn, how did you know it was Unbreaking 3? And I know because I've done the math. A crossbow with Unbreaking 3, it has a durability of 1,856. So multiplying that by the 2 seconds and dividing by 60 gives you 61.86 minutes. And yeah, I sat there for all of that. And still, it wasn't good, because that piglin, when it zombified, dip a boat. It was over right there. And picking up items is just one pitfall of many. I need to get this piglin to the overworld to zombify, and then down into the underworld. And I'm sorry, but the underworld is not a super convenient place to get down into, especially because you can't lead zombie piglins. And even when you put them in a boat, and you lead the boat, then the lead breaks. And the zombie piglin picks up the lead, and you have to start all over again. And mind you, every time you start over, you have to get a new crossbow piglin, and then wait the 20 to 22 minutes for the crossbow to break all over again before you get another shot at it. And I was doing this I did this for a while. I tried, and I was using the portals in the hub, but it was not working out, because the portals in the hub are not close enough to the underworld, and it was just bad. It was just bad. So using the Nether Hub portal was very much not working out. Not only was it the least inconspicuous thing I could be doing, because I'm in the middle of the Nether Hub in a boat with a piglin, watching it shoot me, and people come by and are like, Corn, what are you doing? Because that is kind of a weird thing to be doing. This is for the underworld, and so it should be inconspicuous. No one should be wondering what I'm doing, because I'm not doing anything suspicious, okay? So, the Nether Hub was just a bust, for so many reasons. But did I give up? No, because I'm actually not good at giving up. I'm way too stubborn. So instead I figured, what if I just made, a portal straight from the underworld to the Nether, and see what happens there, because clearly, it can't go any more wrong than it already has. I've only spent, 6 hours on this so far. And I've had quite a few unsuccessful attempts using the Nether Hub. So, what we're gonna do is this. Excuse you. And hopefully... Did I build it right? This works. Yeah, alright. Okay. So, we got everything we need, let's go. No. I'm gonna... Does this also now pop you out of the Nether Hub? Okay, not good. Why is it like this? Why is it always like this? Please do not connect to the nether hub. That's all I ask. Bottom of the nether hub. I can maybe work with this. Oh, a bunch of guys up there. I just need to get up there. And boat down safe. Hello. Can one of you... Can one of you panic over this way? Yes, okay. We've kidnapped a man. Erase my tracks. Okay. Okay, we are so close right now, buddy. You don't even know. You don't even know. I mean, it was closer than I'd been before. The portal was right there, the underworld was very close. But it didn't actually end up mattering, because that zombie piglin, when I sat through the 20 to 22 minutes of the shooting, picked up the boat. Picked up the boat when I broke the boat. So that guy was a bust. So I went to go get another one, but what ended up happening was I ended up dying. Really awkwardly. And losing, like, most of my stuff. Luckily, Percy was nearby, and he came by and got me my stuff, and was together a bit intrigued about what I was doing, so we hung out a bit. And having Percy there really made it bearable, because I don't know if you've sat somewhere for, like, 20 to 22 minutes just focusing on the one thing, because maybe it'll be different this time, you know, rolling the rock up the hill, I don't know, maybe it'll be different this time. But having Percy there, and having someone to chat with, was just kind of game-changing. And when eventually, the piglin finally broke the crossbow this time, Percy was also excited because he understood what was going on. But in our excitement, we made a fatal mistake. There we go! 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Percy, in terms of what we gotta do now, I need you to back, like, way up, because currently he's aggroed on you.
I'm backing up.
Yeah.
Do we want to hop in a group?
Yeah. Group. Okay.
Hello.
So, the test now is, first of all, is he gonna pick up the boat? Which I really don't want him to.
I can put on glasses, by the way. Give me a second.
You can put on glasses?
Yeah.
Why are you... Sure, okay,
Now
you put on glasses.
Now he won't be upset with me.
Okay. Very good, okay. So now we need to break the boat without him picking it up.
Yes.
Could you stand on top of the boat?
That's probably a really good idea.
Good?
I cannot really be on top, but yeah, we will do it like this.
Hey,
yes, I got it.
Oh,
you went through the portal.
Oh my gosh.
This is it.
Where'd he go? Where'd he freaking go? He's not here.
Uh-oh,
I'm gonna...
give me a second. I think I know where he might be.
Where?
I'm just free coming. Give me a second.
No, he's not appearing on minimap. He's not anywhere.
Oh, he didn't have any items. He might have despawned.
But they didn't despawn the other times.
Maybe he said, oh, because there was nobody else here, was there?
Oh, so you have to stay... Okay. Okay.
No, it's when this area is loaded. And they come through, but the other people are too far away. Like 128 blocks away.
Can I have my boat
Then
back?
they will despawn. Yeah, here you go. Here, can also... Oh, I can also give you this now.
Thank you.
Ah, I really wish I had thought of that.
So that really sucked. But was I gonna give up? No, because I don't know how to do that. And besides, now I've got Percy. We got this. Let's just run it back. Let's do it again. We got this. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. No, that's a child. That's a child. The child gets to die now.
Shouldn't have been a child, huh?
Should not have been a child. What's Zoontii?
Oh.
Oh no! Oh no! The portal shenanigans were at it again, only this time, instead of my portal connecting to the nether hub was connecting to my portal, which meant if someone, say Zoontii, would happen to go through the portal in the shopping district and end up in the bottom of the nether hub, if they then tried to get back to the shopping district by going through the portal, they would end up in the underworld, which would be very, 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 very bad!
Hello!
Hey, Zoontii?
Can hear you.
Hey, why?
So this is entirely I am having the worst kind of day, and that is related to this.
Oh.
Yeah. It will be gone after today. The Zoontii interruption had happened while Percy and I were trying to get a piglin, meaning we did not get a piglin. So we had to go back up and get a piglin and start the process all over again because no, we're not giving up. It was at this point that Zoontii decided to dip, having heard that it would be 20 minutes, which is totally valid. But as Zoontii was leaving, we got another guest.
Okay, well, good luck, guys, I guess. I will get resources for my shop.
Yeah, you might want to leave the group. Oh no, it's Alex. Okay.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Alex, say something.
What is going on?
Okay,
Why
let me explain
are we down here?
No. Don't look at the portal, don't do anything. Just stay for a second while I explain things. Okay.
Okay.
Essentially, I'm doing something right now that is temporary. I have been trying to do it for like 3 or 4 hours at this point. I was trying to do it last night. It didn't work out. So this portal will soon be gone and the shopping district will be 100% back to normal. This is just occurring right now.
Is the bow going to break?
Yes.
Point.
It was a little bit ambitious of me to say that the portal was going to be gone the next day, because with the luck we'd been having, we just were not having luck, which is to say we had not gotten a guy, so how can the portal be gone tomorrow when we still haven't gotten a guy? But luck was on our side finally once our guests left, because that happened to be the time when we finally managed to go all the way with a piglin to a zombie piglin without a crossbow, and taking it all the way to the underworld. Because Yes!
Oh, okay, here we go. Action.
Okay. Remember, you gotta stand on the boat.
Oh, right, yeah, that's what we're doing. I knew that.
And we hope he does not pick it up.
I have it.
Thank God. Okay, we're doing this. Hello, sir.
Oh, boy, that pissed him off.
Yep. And now we go through and I have my blocks. Very good. Okay. Now he will not despawn on this side. He's zombified. And
oh, is that what? Yeah.
We go back through this portal.
Okay.
He's not going to despawn now, right? Okay. We break the portal.
You can leave it like this, probably.
I want to put the slabs back, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, if you see the line of cobblestone slabs, it's because I'm pretty sure the slabs are important, and me putting random blocks here is not good. But it could just be me.
Yeah, no, the slabs prevent spawns.
Also, randomly blocks. Yeah. Okay, so now,
We rush.
thank you so much. Now the real question is, would you like to be an esteemed friend or a colleague?
Oh boy, I'm not recording. I'm not ready to record anything.
That's fair. Would you like to be an esteemed friend or a colleague? The line starts here.
I'm not really sure what either means in this context. I think an esteemed friend.
Alright, then I'm gonna, need you to wait outside.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Down. Down.
Aha, so it's down, huh?
Look. You're on thin ice, buddy. Do you want to be an esteemed colleague or not?
Can I come through?
You can come through. It's all good. I'm where I need to be to break the other portal. And the man is vibing in his house. So all's good in that regard. I think you can kill him? Oh.
I think she has a wandering trader, right?
I don't know. I was just a little confused by that.
No, Tris, yeah.
And it's like it was never here. And now, we go do a bunch of other stuff with this guy. Okay. Baby gates are closed. Very good. Okay, we take the anvil. What is the thing I'm supposed to name tag? Give me a sec. Name tag. This. Okay. So. Okay. Baby gate good. Okay. We see if this works. If this doesn't, I'm gonna be a little bit sad. Okay. It worked! A little quick explain here. We have a mod on the server that lets us put custom entity models, which is what the CEM of SEM1 stood for. And a while back, I poked at Tooth and I said, hey Tooth, can you make this for me? And he did. So the reason the zombie piglin looks super cool now, all Tooth, everyone go check him out. He's linked in the description. Thank you so much, Tooth. It's perfect. Hello! And you get a new name now! Yes! Oh my gosh. This is glorious. Hello, Midas. Now, there are those of you who might be wondering why I named the pawn shop owner Midas. And it's named after King Midas, you know, from Greek mythology, because I'm making a Greek mythology-inspired Undercity, you know? Like, I'm doing the underworld, so I thought it really fit. And while I was doing research for this, because yes, I did a lot of research for this, I came across something that I love to talk about, which is how much I hate Nathaniel Hawthorne. Here's a rant, you can skip if you don't want to listen to it, but essentially, the version of the King Midas story that I remember is that he gets cursed or blessed, depending on which version you're talking about, to touch everything that he turns, and everything he touches turns to gold. That's the idea. And then the version I know says that he touches his daughter, and that's when he realizes he's like, oh no, I killed my kid, that's bad. And then he can turn everything back with butter. Very cool. As I was doing research, that is not the original myth. That is entirely a creation of Nathaniel Hawthorne. The daughter doesn't exist until Nathaniel Hawthorne, in one of his books, is like, hey, I heard that he had a daughter, and I'm gonna name her Marigold. Not marigold like the flower, Marigold. Because yes, an ancient Greek myth would definitely have a daughter named Marigold. So yes, Nathaniel Hawthorne, you will feel my wrath. Why did you do this? Why did I not grow up knowing the actual version where he doesn't have a daughter, and apparently, no, he just realizes that he's gonna turn all of his food to gold, and then he would die. And that's when he's like, hey, can we fix this, please? So anyway, rant over, King Midas. I really wanted the version of the myth I know where he has a daughter. I wanted to make Midas, the Midas in the Undercity, a single dad. I thought that would be wonderful. He could have a little piglin child. But no. My hatred for Nathaniel Hawthorne runs deep. Anyway, rant over, let's get back to the underworld. And now, I leave and it's all good. And I can take a break.
Yes, you've deserved it.
I have suffered enough. I have suffered enough.